The fire inside, the hotheads of Aussie and world tennis fighting for a chance to play in the big time.
Only 1 or 2 guys every year break into the top 100, you know, so the odds aren't great, but, you know, I'm giving it my best and we'll see how it goes.
Hot and humid for little money in the country and worlds away from the heights and atmosphere of the big tournaments. But the Australian Unity Tour is where the future of tennis is. In Gosford this day, the Club Ladies tournament is on next door. So this tournament might seem like kids' play. But these young men are playing for world rankings, with a little of the pressure off, a little.
It shouldn't be, because when they come here they're really the underdogs. They're not expected to do well, and it's a great position to be in. You can go out there and play without any pressure and really just go for your opponent. Anybody that puts pressure on themselves is really not taking the right attitude, because if you're don't have a ranking, which a lot of these guys don't, and you're playing someone with a ranking, you can always take the attitude that you're not expected to win, so just go for your shots.
On first impressions, he looks a lot like Leighton Hewitt. In fact, Nathan Healey played with a young star for a few years and has a few of his characteristics.
They look like the terrible twins. They actually looked the same. They had a similar haircut. They both wore their caps backwards, and they were both very aggressive on the court and used to dive all over the place and come up with bloodied knees and scraped elbows. And they also had this habit of punching their strings if they played a bad shot. Well, I think they've both woken up that they're doing more damage to themselves than they were the racket.
We grew up together and travelled overseas for about 5 years together, and then all of a sudden he wins Adelaide and he sort of took off. So I'm planning to catch him, but...
Healey has done it much harder than Hewitt. Injuries have been a scourge, but while his mate has a volatile temper and style, he's taking it slowly.
Yeah, we were, I suppose. A fair bit of fire out there, but over maybe the last couple of months, I've realised that playing a bit of singles here, or more singles than I was last year, I've realised that I don't really need all that fire. You know, he needs it to play, and I've realised that I don't need it as badly.
While Healey battles his way up the rankings, Adam Kennedy, the #1 Australian junior, has just begun his career. He's on the satellite circuit. He's here with the next generation, those just off the top 500.
Sure, there's pressure in all aspects of the game, but being the #1 junior, I don't think has any factor there. I'm just playing because I love the game, and you're right, I've been doing pretty well. I just couldn't really get into it today. It was a pretty disappointing loss, but I gave it everything I had, but didn't come out with the win, which is unfortunate.
He's just lost an intense match, maybe one he shouldn't have, but the learning curve is important.
I have an all-court game. I like to come to the net, I like to stay at the baseline. I play many hours a day, I train a lot, so my goal is just to be an all-court player, and if I have to serve and volley, I can serve volley. If I have to stay back, I can stay back. But I think the way the game's going now, the serve and volley is kind of phasing out a little bit, but I still love to do that. But I think physically-wise, you've got to be fitter than anybody else, so you can do everything.
Also playing the Unity Tour, Irish Davis Cup player Peter Clark, who spent a few years in Australia growing up. The fiery young man loves representing, is desperate to play more Davis Cup.
That's a big buzz, a big thrill, you know, I won a 5-setter this year in the deciding rubber, so that was great, and so it's great, it's everyone's dream to play Davis Cup from when they're a kid.
But Clark is Irish. He knows with 3 players in the top 20, Australia's tennis future is looking good.
And we've got 3 players in the top 20 in the world now, with Leighton Hewitt and Pat Rafter and Mark Philippoussis. We didn't have that 5 or 6 years ago. And of course the incentive of seeing those fellas in the top should give the young guys that incentive to really think that they can get there. That's always the problem if you don't have top players in the world. You have nobody to aim for that's a top player, and nobody to look up to. So we've got some good role models there with Rafter and Hewitt and Philippoussis. So hopefully some of these young fellas on this circuit will come along.
They're the guys that are leading Australian tennis, and plenty of us are working our way towards following in their footsteps.
This has been a C7 Sport production.